Hello, sister.
Yes, I'm there.
I think you can begin.
Okay, now. Are you seeing? Did you see my slide? My slide? Are you seeing
Yes,
my
sister.
slide?
Yes.
Yes, you will.
So, good evening, everyone, and welcome again to this class on Familiaris Consortium. What the document says on marriage and family. I'm still Sr Mary Rosanna, working at Family Light of Nation Foundation here at Mpo in Anambra State. The role of the Christian family in today's world, authored by our late Pope. Last time, I told you that the document was divided into four major parts, and we treated 1, 2, and 3. And I said part 4 is really loaded with a lot of practical issues that we should give it another time, which people agreed. So today we are looking at that. Pastoral care of the family. That is chapter 4 of the document. And in this part 4, you have 5 major discussions or presentations by the document. You have stages of pastoral care of the family, structures of family pastoral care, agents of the pastoral care of families in difficulties, then a conclusion. We begin with the stages. When we come to stages, have 3 main matters there: preparation for marriage, the celebration of the sacrament itself, and pastoral care after marriage. So preparation for marriage. The document insists that it is necessary that young people are prepared for this important vocation. And the church must do everything possible to see that this preparation takes place, but in stages. And so we have remote preparation, proximate preparation, and immediate preparations. So these are the three main stages of marriage preparation. You have the remote, you have the proximate, you have the immediate. Remote has to do with early, I don't like this thing that is up here. Anyway, it is really the early childhood. That is remote one. There's no specific age for it, but according to document, it has to start early childhood, and then and when you talk early childhood, talk of something like between from the age of reason when they can understand until before teenage years, in short, during adolescence. And this they have to be trained on or taught their personality. They help them to discover their own personalities with the strengths and weaknesses of this period. Then it also involves formation of character to instill in them all authentic human values, both in interpersonal and social relationships. You know, the human values of justice, of truth, of love, all those things. This is when they begin to learn it, because they meet this during marriage, these values during marriage. That is, they are going to get married. Then, that within this period, control and right use of one's inclinations, even solid catechetical and spiritual formation is very, very, very important this period. And this formation begin now to let them know about other vocations, not just marriage. Let them know this period that there are other vocations. Then you have proximate. In proximate is for the teenage years. So there is specific motivation for the sacrament, period of narrowing things down to marriage, so that marriage may be celebrated and lived with the right moral and ahead. Begin to talk to them here as to prepare them for relationship of man and woman that has to be continually developed. This period also is used to study the nature of conjugal sexuality and responsible parenthood. Teenage years now, and the connection between conjugal sexuality, responsible parenthood, biological and medical issues about marriage also. These things are, we begin to teach them about these things here. Responsible parenthood, which in a Catholic balance means, natural family planning and all that. Then we have proximates. The same proximate continues. This period, they should be able to know the right methods for education of children. So we are bringing this a period of narrowing education down to the sacrament of marriage. So everything about marriage is brought in here. Then they should be able to know the basic requirements for a well-ordered family, e.g., stable work, sufficient financial resources, sensible administration, and notions of even housekeeping. We need to talk about these things. After, when they have established their own families, they should be able to also help other families. Then we talk to them about active membership in groups and associations in the church and movement, so that become members of these groups. This also prepare them for the sacrament. Then you have the immediate preparation. This is for the engaged couples, those who are now ready to marry. They want to marry now. So something like those who are now coming for marriage course. This is the immediate preparation, because after this, there's celebration of marriage. And this begins months or weeks before the wedding. Here in Nigeria, it is 3 months, but some dioceses have more than 3 months, like Kaduna Ecclesiastical Province has just started 6 months last year, and they made it compulsory. 6 months preparation for marriage. That's the Kaduna Ecclesiastical Province. That's their own. They said that this 3 months is not enough. So, because dioceses are free to also increase the number of months, but nationally it is 3 months. But dioceses have also the right to say what happens in their dioceses, but not below 3 months. Then here, we know now premarital inquiry as required by canon law, these bans and other things, all this premarital inquiry we do before the marriage. Then this period is for deeper knowledge of the mystery of Christ and the church, the meaning of grace and responsibility of Christian marriage, and preparation for taking an active and conscious part in the rites of the marriage liturgy. This particular one, I noticed that in some parishes, this last one, teaching them, it's not a question of teaching them what to respond, but bringing the right itself. Bring the rights, look for the book, for the rights of marriage, bring it and discuss with them, so that you discuss in more details those vows they are going to take on that day. In some parishes, they don't do it, they just prepare them for answering yes and we should do this. But teaching them those vows, very, very important. Then, because of the importance of this preparation for marriage, the Pope instructed all the Catholic bishop conferences in the Catholic world to prepare a directory for the pastoral care of the family. Here in Nigeria, I've worked at the Catholic Secretariat, we don't have this directory for pastoral care of family, but we produced 2 years ago, was it 2 years or 3 years ago, the national curriculum for marriage course in use in all the dioceses. I know that most of the coordinators, diocesan coordinators of marriage and family have already bought these and I use that people will understand, and I'm also free to do that. And they say that in this pastoral, since we don't have it, but what you should have, we have all this is they mentioned here. We have it in that national curriculum for marriage course. That is, you have a doctrinal, the legal, medical, the method, duration, the content. All of them are contained in that the national curriculum that is called Preparing to Live in Love. Then this is the celebration of the sacrament itself. The celebration. Most often people prepare just for physical preparation, like wedding. The wedding has two aspects: have the physical preparation. I mean, the celebration of the sacrament itself, because it's the wedding that now launches the couple into the marriage. But most often, the engaged couples are preparing for them outward something that are not even necessary as such. New reception, where number of people coming, spending much money on wedding gowns, suits, and all that. What people will eat, but not really serious. Preparing for this sacrament that launches them into Catholic marriage. I mean, it is something that we have to look into and emphasize more on preparation for marriage. Then, Christian marriage requires a liturgical celebration, yes. It has to be a liturgical celebration, but sometimes a deacon or even the catechist can perform that, because those who are really the protagonists of the celebration are the couples themselves. Then it must be a valid word, and fruitful, so that the church's discipline regarding free consent impediments, the canonical form, and the acute rite of the celebration may be faithfully observed. In the canon law, there are rules guiding this celebration, and it has to be according to that. Otherwise, marriage may become invalid. So when it comes to this one now, I'm reserving it to Father Thaddeus to elaborate more, because he's a canonist. But I think I don't know whether he's first stated, and we have just said that we can conclude without, I don't know what that means. But how I wish you'd be there so that I can explain these canonical implications of this celebration. And the celebration should be simple and dignified according to the norms of the competent authorities of the church. In short, the Catholic liturgy is always or should be dignified. We don't come to the Catholic liturgy, whether it is Mass or other ones, the celebration of marriage entertainment, different from others. We come there to worship. We come there to give thanks. It's not where we come there to entertain people or father or other entertaining people, no. So that is, it should be dignified but simple. Then, if there are cultural elements that are proper in that place, they can also bring it in, like I have seen in some cultures. The parents or any person of the bridegroom's family bringing the daughter, handing it over to the groom. For example, in my Igbo culture, we don't have it, so we don't even include it in our marriages. I mean, but I've seen it other areas, which is also good. Then, in that, we know very well, there should be a well-prepared sermon. That's the word of God, readings and well-prepared sermon about on this to help both the couples and those who came to witness the ceremony. Just understand what actually marriage is all about. That the relatives, the friends, all other people that are there should actively and responsibly participate in the liturgical celebration. But unfortunately, what happens these days is that only few people come for that mass celebration of the sacrament itself, which is the most important aspect, which is in short, which is the main thing we came from. And people leave this one and they go to wait for the couples in the hall, waiting for other things. But here I wish that those who are celebrating this can encourage all those they invited to accompany them to accompany them in the mass. So that is it. Then there are celebrations of marriages again of anyway, non-believing baptized persons. What does it mean? These people, marriage it has to be between baptized persons normally under normal circumstances. But as we go ahead, we will see abnormal circumstances anyway. But if this couple who are baptized and are Catholics, but they do not believe in what the church teaches about marriage, God's plan about marriage and family. If they don't believe, they don't even accept any of them, they should not be wedded. No father can admit them. Because you cannot say you're a Catholic and you don't believe, you don't want to have children, you don't want to do this, you don't even believe. You just come to do, because let us do and go. If it's really serious that you don't believe, you will not be wedded. Then, pastoral care after marriage. Sorry for that interruption. So, pastoral care. After this wedding, now the couple should not be left like that. Unfortunately, that's what is happening today anyway. But this document is said no. This young couple should be accompanied, starting from their relation self, for them to help them to understand this marriage they have just entered. Even their family members should be able to help, and the parish itself should be able to help them. And when I mean parish, I mean the church now, should be able to help them to adapt, because I begin a new family. They should be able to adapt, to learn what this thing is all about. Young couples should learn to accept willingly the help offered by other couples who have more experience of marriage and family life. And we're talking here, of course, now we're talking about positive help, not just any help at all. Then, the pastoral care of the young, the church must also help them live married love responsibly with regard for its demands of life, of life service or service for life. We have already done it. That marriage is for procreation. It's for marriage, and family should serve life, starting from the womb. So they should also be reminded here that this is what they should be living. The church also help them to learn to harmonize home life with generous shared work of building up the church and society. And when children come in this marriage, the church will say, will not leave them, but help them to accept their children, love them as a gift from God, whether these children are normal. What do I mean by normal? Whether they are normal or they have disabilities, they should accept them, because this is what the third question they are asked at marriage is, are you ready to accept the children God will give you, bring them up in the laws of the church and of Christ? They said yes. So there's no qualification there, whether those children are, whether they're mentally distracted or physically challenged. Children are children, and all of them should be loved. Then, because of this pastoral care after marriage, the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria approved the marriage and family life enrichment encounter. They approved it because it's also contained in that preparing to live in love. Some parishes have already started doing that. Since I came back here, some parishes have already started doing the marriage and family life enrichment. We just finished one 2 weeks ago. So they're doing it. They don't know about other dioceses. But this is what so that these couples are not left alone. And all those who have participated in this enrichment encounter, we're always very grateful. In short, last week, and the one we did 2 weeks ago, a couple said, so the church has remembered us. That before, people will get married and they leave us. But now, they're happy that the church has remembered them, which is this pastoral care after marriage. Then, we go to structures of family pastoral care, the structures. This after this marriage care, there are structures we can follow. We have what the parish or chaplaincy can do, what the family itself can do, and what other families can do for this couple. So the parish or the chaplaincy has a responsibility to promote the pastoral care of the family. Like any parochial plan, any plan in the parish for pastoral care of the parish must take as a priority the care of the family, because it's family that made up parishes and chaplaincies. All those who will be most faithfully engaged in this apostle must be prepared to take on this responsibility, especially priests and religious, men and women, and others, like marriage instructors in the parish. They should have this orientation. Sure, they should be trained. This is what the document is saying. In fact, when I was reading this document, I was asking myself, what have you been doing since? Because many of the things that I said there are not done. Even priests to attend specialized courses before taking on parish responsibilities. That even priests should take specialized courses on marriage before they are given a parish to run. And I don't know how much that one is done. Then, that high institutions of theological and pastoral study should be encouraged, sustained, and increase in number, and should be open to lay people, especially doctors, lawyers, psychologists, social and educational personnel who intend to use their professional skills to help the family. There should be high institutions of theological and pastoral studies. Some dioceses have already started, like Oka has a theological institute. Theological institute, they have it. Equilobia has. Newi has. Around us here. I think Ijebode has too. Ijebode has that institute for marriage and family. And they give certificates. They spend a number of months to prepare for this marriage instruction. And at SUA, Catholic Institute of West Africa, they have just started it. I think last year or 2 years ago, they started a course on marriage that will include lay people, especially those who are doing marriage instruction. Because you have to really be versed in this if you are an instructor, because you cannot give what you don't have. And the Catholic Church has a lot of tools to help you. And one of those tools is this Familiaris Consortion. You need to know what the church is saying, what the church says about God's plan for family. Then, what is the work of the family? The work of the family The mission of pastoral care also belongs to married couples and families by virtue of the grace they received in the sacrament. Like I've said it already, that the family has a lot to do, especially those who are already married, to help these new couples. The immediate families of married couples should demonstrate witness to life, Christian formation of children, education in chastity, preparation for life, help and advice in choosing a vocation, mutual help among family members for human and spiritual growth together, and so on. What the immediate family can do, to help in this family apostle we're talking about. See what they can do. Then the apostolate of the family will widen through works of spiritual and material charity towards other families, especially those most in need of help and support towards the poor, the sick, the old, the handicapped, orphans, widows, spouses who have been abandoned, unmarried mothers to be in difficult situations, who are tempted to have recourse to abortion and so on. So what the family can do in this, so the family is also can carry out an apostolate on itself, especially those of them who are already married in the Catholic Church anyway, and see the things they can do so that family, both this new one and the ones before the new ones, can flourish. In this document, John Paul has emphasized several times this families helping families. I don't know whether it is done here. Maybe during discussion, see how people do it. Families helping families. He mentioned it many times throughout this document. Then Association of Families for Families. Groups or parish commissions for spirituality, formation, apostolate, and other commissions. Their works to foster among the faithful a lively sense of solidarity from conscience formation according to Christian values and not according to public opinion. So it is their work. In some parishes, there are commissions for spirituality, commission for this, commission for that. Then you have also commission for marriage and family. Their work is to form consciences and to stimulate people to perform works of charity that make families into a true source of light and a wholesome level for other families. Then there should be also call it secular associations that also help in preserving family, in transforming and protecting the ethical and cultural values of people. It's not just other Catholic commissions or Catholic families. The others. What the Pope is saying that outside the parish, people can also engage to see that whatever is done outside the church does not, destroy the dignity of marriage and family. Other associations can also promote a more just and human world. They promote just laws, favoring respect for the dignity of the human person and the family. And if Catholics are members of these associations, they should be able to let whoever is making any law, or even themselves are making the laws, favor family. Favor family. But unfortunately, when some people belong to secular associations, they leave Catholic faith behind and just be going like that. So then, agents of pastoral care of the family. These bishops have already told you. You have the priests, bishops, you have religious men and women, you have the laity, but especially laity who are specialized in certain things. So we have bishops and priests, men and women, religious, lay specialists, then recipients, the family again, and agents of social communication. So the principal person responsible in the diocese for pastoral care of the family is the bishop. The bishop is number one. But because the bishop cannot be in all the parishes now, so he appoints priests to parishes. But the question now is, how much do priests do for family in their parishes? That has been a very big question. Then, as a father, he must make pastoral care a priority in his diocese. He must develop personal interest, care, time, personnel, and resources. I know many bishops who are doing having worked at the Catholic Secretariat, there are many bishops who have really taken family apostolate as a priority in their dioceses. Above all, the bishop must personally support families, and families of all those who in various diocesan structures assist him in the pastoral care of the family. Like those working with him, let's say in the Catholic secretariats, diocesan secretariats. The document, His Holiness is saying that the family is working with him and should look into the pastoral life of the families working with him. Then, particularly, he must make diocese a true diocesan family, a model and source of hope for many families. That means many places that belong to that diocese. So the bishop have a lot to answer about how far he's doing this. Then priests and deacons have also their responsibility to support families. Those are families in difficult situations, families that are suffering, caring for its members, and helping them to see their lives in the light of the gospel. Like I said, parishes and the members of parish and the chaplaincies came from the family. So, whatever a priest is doing in that parish, the pastoral of the family must be number one. So it's not enough hearing confessions or celebrating mass and baptism. You should be able to look into those families. Are they living according to gospel? Are there issues? Then what programs has this parish priest? What programs has he for the families in his parish? What programs? He must not be the one to create this program, but he can organize and invite people to come and talk to his parishioners. That's what he's expected to do. So priests and deacons, as the bishop in this great ministry, they must be trained for this apostolate. Have you seen training again? They must be trained for this apostolate and act towards families as fathers, brothers, pastors, teachers, and assisting them with the means of grace, enlightening them with the light of truth, in keeping with the teaching of the magisterium. Thus, they form the consciences of the members of the family with morally sound teachings about marriage and family. Then, men and women religious, by the virtue of their consecration to God, men and women religious contribute immensely to the apostolate of the family. Their consecrated chastity, embraced for the kingdom of God, makes them ever more available to dedicate themselves generously to the service of God and to works of family, which is true, because I'm a sister now. The vow of chastity we have taken frees our mind, frees our hearts to embrace everybody, but especially the family. The Pope is saying that family, we have to embrace the family. And who are those people in particular areas, especially whether as a group of individual sisters or brothers or other consecrated people. They should develop their service to families that are abandoned, unwanted, orphaned, poor, and handicapped children. Our attention is needed in this area, which can be done as a religious institute or as individual members of that institute doing this work. They can also visit families and look after the sick, charity towards one-parent families or families that are in difficulties or families that are separated. They can offer their own work of teaching and counseling in preparation for young people for marriage and helping couples towards truly responsible parenthood. We can be involved in marriage preparation, and also we can be involved in teaching these couples natural family planning. Then they can also open their houses for simple and cordial hospitality so that families can find there the sense of God's presence and gain a taste for prayer and recollection and see the practical examples of lives lived in charity and fraternal joy as members of the larger family of God. So they can also open their doors to people in difficulty so that people can experience hospitality from their hands. And I know that many religious institutes are doing that. The Pope exhorts the heads of institutes of consecrated life to consider always with respect for the proper and original charism of each one, the apostolate of the family as one of the priority tasks, rendered even more urgent by the present state of the world. What is the Pope saying here? Pope is saying that the central administration of each institute of men and women religious, apart from their or in accordance or in respect of them, each institute, each religious institute, each religious sisters, congregation of sisters, congregation of brothers, those in the monastery and other people, they have their own charism and spirit. And Pope is saying, in addition to this as and spirit, whatever your charism is, whatever your spirituality is, make family apostolic one of the priorities in your congregation. That's what he's saying. Then lay specialists. We know very well that in preparation for marriage or even after marriage, the services of people like doctors, lawyers, psychologists, social workers, consultants, and others are needed. Or they may be as individuals or as members of associations and undertakings. They can offer their contribution of training or enlightenment, advice, orientation, and support for the family. Then they can also promote an integral vision of the person. Professionals are urged to operate within the framework that respects the full truth and dignity of the person and the family unit. So it depends on the professional now. Mentioned here, like doctors, they know where they can contribute. Lawyers, they know where they can come in. Psychologists, something. Social workers, they know where they can come in. Can also provide practical help and education. This exhortation specifically mentions doctors and experts in relation to natural family planning methods. It states that every effort must be made to render such knowledge accessible to all married people through clear, timely, and serious instruction and education given by married couples, doctors, and experts. So here, when it comes to this natural family planning and other issues about health of married couple, doctors are very, very important. So it is the work of the parish people to opt all these people in from the parish or even outside the parish or chaplaincy, consider them into a commission that will help, together with the marriage instructors, help in these marriage issues. They can do advocacy too. Lawyers and those in political, social roles are implicitly called upon to structure society in a way that respects the family's rights and autonomy in line with the principle of subsidiarity. So public authorities and by extension legal professionals must ensure families have the necessary aid and not compelled by societal pressures to act against their core values. And if these people are Catholics, I will continue to say this, when you are a member, you are a Catholic and you are there, be able to speak up for the family. They can also contribute to the running of the society. The general message is that the well-being of society and the church is intimately tied to the good of the family. Therefore, all individuals in their professional lives should contribute to building a more just and fraternal world that supports and strengthens the community of life and love that is the family. Then, among the agents are also both the recipients and agents of social communication. Recipients are the families. So what are their responsibilities when it comes to media? Families, as the primary educators of their children, have a crucial role in managing media consumption. The document states that parents must actively ensure a moderate, critical, watchful, and prudent use of the media. This involves training conscience, helping children develop the capacity for calm and objective judgment to guide them in choosing or rejecting media programs, active monitoring, being aware of the effects media has on children and controlling its use within the home, serving as a critical conscience, not passively absorbing all media messages, but actively engaging with media content from a perspective of authentic family humanism and values. Then education in media literacy, guiding children to understand and navigate the media landscape, recognizing that media can present appealing ideals that sometimes obscure the truth about dignity of the human person. This is the role of the family itself. But the question is, do the family, or let's say the couples, do they know what media is all about? Especially now that we have this social media that is driving our children crazy. The Gen Zs, who are the owners of the media now. The Gen Zs are those who were born between 1997 and 2012, according to one study. They are the ones, so the ones who are now between 16 to 27 years, they live in social media. So what can parents do? I don't know if any of you know about this. There's an institute that's called ISEA. I mean, they train people on sexuality and addiction, rehabilitation, and the addiction. Now, there's a training they are doing, which I participate in. Very, very important for families, the Gen Zs and the mass media. A lot of things, and social media. This is not what I'm going to discuss. Maybe I will, at the end, I will drop there some so that you can also participate as parents and learn. I can even, if you have something, I can even invite them to come and address parents. But really, very, very, very important that you know what your children are watching and how to not just condemn them, but how to help them to consume things positively. Then, what of the responsibility of the media professionals? They are the publishers, writers, producers, directors, playwrights, newsmen, commentators, art influencers. A lot of things they are people who bring out people we watch or on the media, be it social media, television, and other things, other means of communication. These new ones now, plus the old ones, radio, TV, print, but especially these new ones. John Paul's count calls on them to recognize their moral responsibility. Only God knows whether people know that their moral responsibility in what they produce. Promoting family values, so they have to utilize their platform to encourage, assist, and support the family as a fundamental institution of society. They should exercise wisdom and good judgment and demonstrate fairness and wisdom in their presentation of issues involving sexuality, marriage, and family life. But this one is not what is happening now. Because by this social media, social media is a home for all. Home for all. TikTok, Facebook, all these things. It is even YouTube that has some control, but other ones that are just there. Just go and do whatever you want to like, and this is where our children are now. Chat rooms, all those things. Then, safeguarding human dignity, they have to avoid content that treats human beings as objects of trade or mere pleasure, which leads to forms of exploitation like pornography. Then collaboration with the church is encouraged to support and train Catholics who feel called to this profession to ensure that the media landscape benefits from a strong Christian presence and perspective. And it's very necessary, like I've said before, that those Catholics in the media, what are we doing? What programs are you producing? And it's also very important that dioceses have Catholic Media Association, or Catholic, I don't know, Catholic Media, so that they'll call together all those in this profession who are Catholics and be able to let them know these things and even trends that should be able to project uh, values that should make the family, marriage and family flourish. Then pastoral care of the family in difficult situations. I would like us to listen attentively here. Pastoral care of the family in difficult situations. Here, family difficult situations, you have particular families, you have mixed marriages, you have pastoral action in certain irregular situations, and then those without a family. So we begin with particular circumstances. John Paul II lists those who, families that are really have difficulties, and sometimes people don't even mention them. But when I read this, I said, wow. So these are the people that the church should care for, or families should also care for. So the Pope calls special attention to certain particular groups which are more in need, not only of assistance, but also of more incisive action upon public opinion and especially upon cultural, economic, and judicial structures, so that the profound causes of their needs may be eliminated as far as possible. And these include the families of migrant workers, the families of those obliged to be away for long periods, such as members of the armed forces, sailors and all kinds of itinerant people, the families of those in prison, families of refugees and those in exile, the families in big cities living practically speaking as outcasts, families with no home, incomplete or single parent families, families with children that are handicapped or addicted to drugs, the families of alcoholics, families that have been uprooted from their cultural and social environment, or are in danger of losing it, like what is happening in the North now, that we know very well. Families discriminated against for political or other reasons. Families that are ideologically divided. Families that are unable to make ready contact with the parish. Families experiencing violence or unjust treatment because of their faith. This one is also known to us. Teenage married couples, the elderly who are often obliged to live alone with inadequate means of subsistence. My dear brothers and sisters, say you can see this, all these families exist. So when you look around in your area, which ones do you see? And I think the reason we are doing this to help us to know what we should do as those who are interested in family affairs. So look at these families. So look around your area. What can you do? So that these people need assistance, not just spiritual assistance, but economic and even juridical. Are you a lawyer in this group? What can you do? Do you have, did God bless you with means of livelihood, abundant one? What can you do? What can you change in your culture? These are the things all these that affect families negatively. Families of migrants, Pope says, for all these people, he really says something about families of migrants. So especially those in the case of manor workers and farm workers should be able to find a homeland everywhere in the church, no matter where they are coming from. Migrants. We know the meaning of migrants now. We can even say home migrant. What do I mean by home migrant? Look at what is happening in the north. Many of them have been chased out of their ancestral homes and are living in IDP camps. The government is not even doing anything for them. Now, these people should be able to be helped. And so the church starts to appeal to the public conscience and to all those in authority in social, economic, and political life, so that workers may find employment in their own regions and homelands, receive just wages, reunited as soon as possible with their families, their cultural identity respected, and treated on equal footing with others, and their children have the chance of education. Other difficult circumstances in which the family needs the help of the church and its pastors are adolescent children, which can be disturbed, rebellious, and sometimes these periods can be very, very stormy. Children's marriage, which takes them away from their family, lack of understanding or lack of love on the part of those held most dear. There are families suffering this one too. Or families, then abandonment by one of the spouses, or his or her death, which brings the painful experience of widowhood, or the death of a family member, which breaks up and deeply transforms the original family nucleus. These are people that also need assistance. Then come to the elderly, they cannot be forgotten. There is the burden of loneliness, which they suffer, more often psychological, emotional, rather than physical, which results from abandonment or neglect on the part of children and their relations. There is also suffering caused by ill health, by the gradual loss of strength, by the humiliation of having to depend on others, by the sorrow of feeling that one is perhaps a burden to one's loved ones, and by the approach of end of life. Our elder people, we need to accompany, we need to be closer to them. All those in this, listen to me now. How do you take care of your parents if they're still there? How do you take care of your aunts, uncles in your families if they're still there? Or are you saying that after they're not my parents, they're not this, I cannot help out? Since I started doing family apostasy, my experience at the Catholic Secretariat of Nigeria really opened my eyes to family, what is the meaning of family apostolate. And this, just before I came out, the Catholic bishops approved pastoral guideline for taking care of the elderly in parishes and chaplaincies. We couldn't publish it before I came out last year, but the sister that took over from me is going to publish it. You will see that the elderly are suffering in our various parishes. And most of these elderly are the ones who really help to build up the community or the parish. But at their old age, what are we doing for them? Even the one of we do in parish, the Pope Francis promulgated, that is World Day for grandparents and elderly. How far do you listen to me now, how far do you participate in it? Then coming to missed marriages. Remember, we're still in marriages and and they bring them up in the Catholic faith. Who are these? Namely, what are these marriages? One, marriages between Catholics, that's baptized Catholics and other baptized person in another church. It is possible. You can marry two of you can do mixed marriage, still retaining your denominations. That, you know, it is possible. Marriages between Catholics and non-baptized Catholics who profess no religion at all. You can even marry someone who professes no religion at all. It is possible. And dioceses or bishop conferences are asked to, even though the canon law says something about this. Father Thaddeus can explain more on this. But Catholic bishops conferences can also devise on what to do. But in any case, the Catholic party spouse must, not should though, never leave his Catholic faith. And children born there, Catholics. So this should be made clear to the other party. So the Catholic spouse must be assisted in every possible way to offer within his family or her family a genuine witness to the Catholic faith and the Catholic life. The non-Catholic partner cannot be admitted to the Holy Eucharist except in danger. I'll talk on that. However, members of Orthodox Latin churches can receive Holy Communion since they have the priesthood and the Eucharist, like the Catholic Church. I hope you know the one of in danger. That this book, that this instruction, it is there on you can download it from the internet. Instruction in quibus rerum circumstantis. They gave that document stipulated or guidelines on when a non-Catholic can receive Holy Communion. That a non-Catholic that is married to a Catholic can receive. Maybe Father will explain more there because this has to do with law. And I want to say, maybe talk these Eastern churches and Orthodox churches and all that. I hope you know that they have many of them are in communion with us because we have 21 types of Catholic Church in the world. It's not just Roman Catholic Church; there are others, but the one we know very well is the Roman Catholic Church, and like Eastern churches, they're Catholics. Even though the only what differs is the rites. And some of them are not under the Pope, some are under the Pope, but their priesthood and Eucharist also is recognized like the Catholic Church. This one needs more explanation by experts. I'm not an expert, I'm not a canonist. So, Father, I should be able to say something here. Then, pastoral action in certain irregular situations, trial marriages. I hope you have heard about trial marriages, where couple, whether they're baptized, where you can see baptized couples. So we want to trial marriage, so that if it doesn't work, we disperse. Can you not accept this something like this? Even the short that document, because it's an evil. Don't do anything like that, because Catholic marriage is indissoluble. You cannot enter it and say, let us maybe try it for 2 or 3 or 5 years. If it works, if it doesn't work, we leave it. No, this is not Catholic marriage. They have also de facto free union, so the whole cohabitation. These people, they are there without any publicly recognized institutional bond. They are not married even